Bob here, getting ready to go to work. Just got a lot of crap on my mind. Republicans, we gotta have a talk. So, first off, for people who don't know, I am a former Democrat. I grew up a Democrat. I voted for Bill Clinton in 1992. I abstained from voting in 1996 because I had about enough of Hillary Clinton. I abstained from voting in 2000 because I saw literally no difference between George Bush and Al Gore, and things have changed since. I am not a brain-dead zombie. I was a gifted student, despite years of harming my mental faculties with THC. Take of that as what you will. I'm still, quite high functioning, I'll put it. I'm not going to say I'm the smartest person in the room everywhere I go, because I'm not. But, my intelligence is not to be besmirched simply because someone doesn't agree with me. I don't put up with that. But due to the fact that I want to maintain my ethics and my intellectual integrity, I have had to move to the right. Just is what it is. It's not so much I moved a little right, let's be honest. I changed some of my perceptions of things that I learned growing up and that I believed growing up, but I've also seen the left move a lot farther left. But that being said, that's just a little intro for people that don't know anything about my beliefs. We got to talk about Trump. So right now, the Republicans are tearing themselves apart. And let's be clear. I consider myself a compassionate conservative, right? I still have some liberal ideals, right? I am that before I'm a Republican, period. The two-party structure, I'm not a fan of. The uniparty ideals we seem to have in Washington, D.C. right now, I'm not a fan of. I don't care about the Republican Party so much as I care about getting some common sense going back in this country. So, to my point, though, Trump's not going to win. Okay? Let's be clear. All right? We have seen a lot of information in the last 2 or 3 years that has vindicated a lot of what Trump has said and really eroded the narratives that the left has been pursuing against him. We've seen January 6th get undercut. We know for a fact now that there were feds there. We know for a fact now that the QAnon shaman was indeed led around on a guided tour as he said he was, and people are being prosecuted for being taken to areas as if they were allowed to be there. That's a fact. Now, I know, just wait a minute, because I'm going to address more of that. We know the Hunter Biden laptop was real. We know that agents within our own government colluded with the Biden campaign to declare it Russian misinformation, and that is 100% election interference. I don't care what your political beliefs are, that was election interference because it made Donald Trump look like a liar and eroded more people believing his crap when it wasn't crap at all. There's more information coming out about Ukraine, which for people like me, it's not a surprise. We've known about Burisma for a long time. That's why Trump made the phone call to Ukraine. That's why he was impeached. Right? So we know the cacophony of problems with Trump, right? We know, they were so wrong, and I agree. There's a lot of wrong. But a lot of that wrong comes from Trump himself. He invites it because he's a jackass. Let's be honest, okay? It really doesn't matter right now how right Trump has been proven to be. It really doesn't. Much like in the Old Testament of the Bible, where Moses was trying to free the Israelites from Egypt, And they say Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Well, there's a lot of people in this country whose hearts are hardened. Their minds are closed. They don't want to see the January 6th footage. They refuse to watch it because Tucker Carlson was involved in disseminating it. Simply for that reason, they're not going to change their minds. As the truth about Burisma becomes more and more public, they're not going to change their minds. The stuff with the Hunter Biden laptop, they're not going to change their minds. Not enough of them are. And mainly due to the fact that Trump was already so unlikable. Okay? So anytime you give him a small victory, oh, Trump was right about this, he turns it into a 30-minute long bumbling speech about how great he is. Okay? And that's just the truth. I'm sorry. I voted for Trump both times because I don't like what's happening with the political left in this country. I don't agree with the agenda at all, right? I do like Trump's on policy. I don't like him on personality one bit, right? So the fact is, people aren't going to change their minds. And you've got to realize that while you're tearing each other apart over Trump and DeSantis and this guy, and you're publishing AI images and AI videos and all this garbage, the left is just sitting back and laughing at you because they're not going to stop going after Trump. It doesn't matter. They've got embedded power in Washington, D.C. They've got embedded power in all forms of media. They've got embedded power in all forms of academia. And they know people aren't going to change their minds. They know this. And they're using it perfectly. Because right now, all anybody cares about is that Trump's being indicted over the classified documents. And the joke is real, that he should have kept them in a Corvette and he wouldn't be having any trouble at all. We know this is true, but people don't care. Because it's Trump. Because they don't like the guy. And he invites that. What we cannot have is 2024 be a revenge election because you're mad about 2020, because you're mad that they have been going after Trump or whatever. That's not going to win you anything. The best way forward right now, and I'm not acting like a shill for DeSantis or anything, but with what's going on right now, we see this in real time. All these things that are turning out to be true, forget that it was against Trump. Forget that part of it. It was against you. It was against the American people. We watched that impeachment happen in real time, and the sad fact is that if the Democrats had any integrity or ethics whatsoever, they would have replaced Adam Schiff. And if they had replaced Adam Schiff, Trump would have been impeached and removed from office for what we are now finding out was indeed true, or looks like it was true, about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Burisma, right? Because he asked about that. That impeachment would have been successful without Adam Schiff's tomfoolery, honestly. Adam Schiff does need to be expelled from Congress, by the way, especially as more of the Burisma stuff comes out. But the fact is right now, the Republicans need to unite. All this bickering and all this fighting is doing nobody any good. It doesn't matter if it's Trump. It doesn't matter how right Trump was or how wrong it was to go after him. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is the fundamental problems in this country where we're seeing a weaponized FBI and a weaponized Department of Justice, and we're seeing this trend of political persecution against the current president's political opponents. We've seen attempts to control media, to engage in unbelievable Orwellian information control by the current administration. And that matters more than getting revenge for Trump or getting justice for Trump, right? We all know anger is a justice issue. And we all want that moment where the people who have hurt us, receive their comeuppance for hurting us, where they admit they were wrong. And that's not going to happen. The behavior of others is 100% out of your control. That is fool's gold right there. It is never going to happen. And you have got to come to grips with that. And I'm sorry, Trump's not the guy. You're going to have to unite behind DeSantis and let Trump pass the baton to him and let DeSantis take up the fight. Because people are not going to change their minds about Trump. It really doesn't matter. I agree with you, it's horrible. I agree with you, it's terrible what's been done to him personally. But the bigger problem is what was done to our country. Of all the division that these lies that were propagated from politicians through media, the damage done to our civic discourse, the damage done to our trust among each other. That is the bigger issue. And that is the issue you need to focus on. Not Trump. This isn't about Trump anymore. It can't be about Trump anymore. If you continue to make it about Trump, you will lose. We will lose. You will just get 4 more years of Biden or whoever they put up there once they finally get to the point that they can't cover up what's going on with Biden anymore, right? It could be Kamala Harris, and she picks a new VP. You know, you could have Harris Pelosi running the country, all because you are so focused on Trump. So this is my advice to you, as someone who cares, as someone who is worried more about what's right than who was wrong. You got to let go of Trump. You got to let go of it. Continue fighting for justice. Continue fighting against what we're seeing the government do right now. Continue fighting against the wrongs. Very much so. But you're going to need a new person at the head to do it. And that's just a fact. Okay? Donald Trump has his own personality problems that feed into the attacks against him. And that's never going to change. People are not going to open their hearts and suddenly accept Trump. People aren't going to realize they were lied to as long as Trump is the guy telling them they were lied to. It's just not going to happen. So, it's time for some self-reflection, GOP. Do you really care more about justice for Trump or justice for the American people? I think it's a hard conversation to have because Trump ain't the guy. I'm sorry. He's not. It's not going to happen. Too many people already have their minds made up, and no amount of showing them what really happened is going to matter because half of them or most of them aren't even going to look at what really happened as long as it's still about Trump. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. Now, you can hate me all you want. You can be mad at me. I'm not MAGA. I never was. I don't think we need to make America great again because I think it was already great. I just think we need to clean up some things. Clean up America. How about that? I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings. I'm sorry if you're mad because I'm not supporting Trump. But I care more about what's going on in this country than I do about the persecution of a political figure. If you fix what's going on in the country, the persecution of the political figure will stop. And it needs to be someone other than that political figure that leads the charge. Sorry. But, time for me to walk in the building. Bob out.